Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, one second. Hey, Leanne, the dog's out of water.
You should have told the water's out of dog.
She's that dog. I swear to God, they drink that water up and then they start sliding this. It's a big bottle. It sets on top of a water dish, right? And when it gets empty, they start hear it. They start digging at the thing and
That's
pulling it across the room and shit. And they'll just like that's going to produce water, and essentially it does because eventually somebody will get sick of hearing that and they come fill it up. So it works.
Dogs are very intelligent.
Oh my God, too intelligent sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
We'll start now. Now 2 seconds. Just kom hier, né? Okay, we'll wait another 2 minutes. So how's your weekend been so far?
So far, so good. It's just same as any other time. Just kind of plugging through, noticing that the days are getting shorter. I'm going to have to get out here and mow. I probably should do that this afternoon because it's starting to look like a jungle out there, and it's finally dry. So,
yeah, we've decided to like just kill all our grass because we had a lot of thorns and bushes and stuff, and it's like almost like overtaken the grass. So like, let's kill everything, take all the weeds and everything, and just plant new grass. Just be much easier.
See, I have grass, I have weeds, I have crabgrass, dandelions, all that. I don't care. I'm down for that. I like that because the diversity of everything, the way it's supposed to be. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, with us it's not nice because it's those bush thorns. Those little.
Yeah.
That's so the children can't run around barefoot and stuff. So we have to get rid of it. You know what I mean?
You probably got a lot of things down there that kill folks.
Sucks.
Bugs, snakes, and shit like that. And every time you go to where the weather's good, and that's what the trade-off is. You go to where the weather's good.
Spiders. We got a lot of spiders and snakes. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife would not fare well in an area like that. No, not a bit. She flips shit when she sees a spider or a snake. Forget it. She's all done. I was building a house. I was with a crew building a house, and my wife showed up on the job site and said, "You have to come home right now." I said, "Why?" She said, "There's a snake on the carport." I was like, "Well, so it'll go away." "No, you don't understand. There's a big black snake on the carport." Of course, by the time I got there, the snake was gone and everything. But she didn't even unpack the groceries. Nothing. She showed up on the job site with the bags of groceries and everything. It was like, no.
We actually had like 2 months ago. You had right by a wall, and the next one was they picked up a king cobra.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Those are the worst ones, ain't they?
It was going for the dog.
Oh fuck! A king cobra, Leanne, was going after his dog. Oh man, no good.
It's been hectic.
No bueno.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you 13 questions, and it's quite interesting because everybody I've interviewed so far had very different ways of interpreting the questions and answering. So,
all right.
But I do appreciate you coming on. I think it's going to be awesome. Okay, number 1. What first got you into the Flat Earth arena?
A friend of mine came out to visit when I was living in Death Valley. I had already seen little things about it on Facebook and whatever, and I figured, that's ridiculous. It's probably like the pet rock. It's just some kind of a fad. People are pretending, so that they can just be a thing, And then a friend of mine came out and he said, we were talking, and he says, "Yeah, the Earth's flat." And I says, "Oh, come on, you believe in that stuff?" I said, "That's just a trope. It's like the pet rock or whatever, right?" And he goes, No, really, it is." And he started hitting me up with some points and stuff. And I was like, okay, these people are serious, man. I was like, I'm going to debunk this shit. I mean, I knew I was even when I was like 12 years old, I was so into it. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So hydrogen's 1 atom per cubic meter in space. So you could have actually a big spaceship with a mile wide or 5 mile wide collector. It wouldn't matter. There's no air resistance. And I was working this stuff out in my mind, so I was really a believer in it. And I thought, you know what? I'll debunk this and no problem. And I watched 200 proofs and I went, oh, wait a minute, hold on. And I went through it. I was like, there's no way, I can't. This is ridiculous. When I started figuring out all of the assumptive shit that's placed on you and treated like fact, these little things. Oh, gravity. Oh, the sun is 93 million miles away. It's 836,000 miles in diameter. Blah, 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 all this other shit. These you're treating as facts, but you never go back and go, how the hell do they know that shit? And you might be able to be placated with, well, we triangulated in, we have parallax and gravitational, blah, 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 and Venus's apogee and, all this other bullshit. And I'm like, no, 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 it comes right down to it. You don't know. You don't even know. And so that's what really blew it into it for me. It was sort of like, holy shit, I can't believe I felt like such a dumbass for being fooled so badly. I thought, God, how did they pull this over? And then I started looking at how they did the trick. We already know what the trick is. What I think is amazing is how they do the trick. And you figure it's insidious, but it's genius. It's genius. And there is no way that this could have been developed and put out there by a human mind. There is something higher. There is a higher intelligence behind this. I think using men and women as tools to promote it. Call them legions, minions, whatever you want. But that's what I started to notice, and the vehement demonic anger that comes about when it's challenged. That I found really telling, really interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence. I mean, even we had confidence when we tried to debunk it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, but I think we at least had the humbleness to say, okay, we have to be honest with ourselves. What can we debunk? There's nothing to prove. They haven't proven it in the first instance, so there's nothing to debunk. I 100% agree. Okay,
yeah, I think it was this. A big part of it is looking at the human psychology involved with it. And this is what blows me away, is because these people, they can't believe it. They treat me like, oh, you're a traitor. Because hell, half the time I know more about what they're supposed to believe than they do. I have to tell them, according to your belief, you think the sun is 93 million miles away. It's 836,000 miles in diameter and it's traveling. How do you know all that? Well, because I used to be you. In fact, I was super you.
Yeah, we do know quite a lot about the global religion because we've actually looked into it.
Yep.
Exactly. Okay, you almost actually kind of already answered the second one. Did you find people who disagree with you?
Oh, yeah, right, immediately. And not just, no, I don't agree with that. It's like, you stupid bastard, what are you wrong with you? You're retarded. They just vehemently angry about it. It's not just a disagreement. It's almost like you walked up and grabbed them in the ass or something. It's like, no different than, who are you going to vote for? Why is this such a hot button subject for you? And that's what I always tell people. I'm like, I'm asking you why it upsets you, not because I want the answer. I already know the answer. I'm wanting you to ask the question to yourself, honestly.
Yep. No, 100%. You kind of like me. We think in the same kind of way. That's why you're able to answer the next question without me even asking. Can you guess what the next question was?
No, what?
How did they react to the news of your newfound information?
Okay, yeah. I just figured that'd be part of that same question. Yeah. And one of the things I think is interesting about the way people react, especially amongst the not just globe people, people that they're just people. They've been hornswoggled. They believe this shit, and they're not flat Earth haters. They might come off aggressive when you first hit them with the subject, but not like what we see on YouTube, where people are just devoted to the hatred of flat Earth. But it's almost like a demonic reaction. It almost reminds me of when you see one of these exorcism movies and the priest throws holy water and says, the power of Christ compels you. And they start freaking out and rocking around and burning and shit. And they really, really get upset when you tell them, that there's no other way than the fact that you're not going anywhere. No one is leaving here. Okay, that's just the bottom line. What do you mean we're trapped? I'm like, trapped? Where the hell are you going to go? Have you seen this place? It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, trapped. It's not like somebody stuck you in a box, but I think that is kind of like a reminiscent reaction to what they say the demons are the disembodied spirits of Nephilim who have no place on heaven or earth. And so they're
Mm-hmm.
just here. And it pisses them off. They don't think it's fair. They want to be able to get out.
Yeah.
And the firmament is what keeps anybody from getting out of here alive. Okay, the
Yeah.
meat suit's not going with you, baby. Not happening.
I 100% agree. And then, have you seen a difference between people who have been exposed to the flat Earth before and to the people that never heard it?
Yes, yes. In fact, I see that they're a calmer, happier people. They end up being a calmer, happier people. Not at first. People usually go through a classic form of the 7 stages of grief. They really do. Anger, all of the stages of grief accompany that. But then when you come to the realization, oh my God, I do have purpose. I'm at the center of the universe. I was put here for a reason. This was made for me. There is someone above. Holy
Mm-hmm.
cow. It really, I don't know, it has kind of a calming effect. That's why we're able to just kind of laugh our asses off when these people hit us so hard, and then just laugh even more as they freak out even worse, getting angry about it. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of us are sitting there on some level going, wow, man, why are you so mad, dude? Like you had that one, bro, why are you so mad? You
Mm-hmm.
know,
No, it is that way. It's amazing how different people react to different things. And I mean, even in situations where you just go and relax with normal people, that's
yeah,
friends and family. They have a weird reaction. Some of them take it like, oh no, this is okay. It's fine. Others are like, they want to shun you for the rest of their life. Like you've
yeah.
become some kind of evil spirit. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell?
Well, it's like there's a lot of people around that they have come over here and they hang out, and by now, hell, they're mostly all pretty well down with it. I think that one of the most disturbing reactions that I get over it is well, what difference does it make anyway?
Mm-hmm.
That right there tells me you're already beaten. That tells me right there you're already just a beaten down soul. You don't even care. And if something as monumental as having been lied to about the very place where you live, the very thing that you interact with daily, that should really piss you off. It
Yeah,
really
because
should. But then you go to that and you go, "Oh my God, if they could do it with that, what else have they lied about? Holy cow." And then you're open. Now you're open because you realize, okay, they were just shuffle stepping me the whole damn way. And now here I am, I'm gonna play my own dance and I'm gonna look for the tune myself. That's
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like the Truman Show.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
your whole life's been a lie. They've been, leading you towards stuff a lie, and you thought it was cool. I mean, if you found out you're in the Truman Show, I don't think it's going to be like, that's fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
Huh, how about that? It was stage lights all along. Well, okay. Bump it up, dump, go back to my slave life. What?
Then they
Yeah.
successfully done their job. Then they
Yes.
successfully done.
Yep.
I agree. What is your first experience with globe defending trolls?
Oh, phew. Man, now I'm going to really have to dig into that. I would say probably the first experience I had with that was on Facebook. And of course, you realize that there's a bunch of those that are bots, anyways, but you've got a couple of your flat earth haters on there. But I didn't really run into it to the level I have until I got into YouTube. I didn't even know there was a FE hating community like that. I didn't even know that was a thing. When I first got on YouTube, I wasn't even doing flat Earth. Okay, I was covering this guy who claimed to be a constitutional professor or some shit, right? And then I started finding out that guy was wrong about half the shit, and he acted like a real prick toward me. And I thought, all I tried to do is help you, and then you acted like a prick. Okay, shots have been fired. I'm returning fire. So I did a video exposing this guy for what he did. It gained some traction, started doing some videos and lives covering that kind of thing. And one night I was doing one without a background, and I had my Gleason's map was on the wall in the background. And I had a good amount of followers. I already had like 1,000 followers, over 1,000 followers. And somebody said, "What? Sob's a flat earther?" And I saw that in the chat, and I was like, well, yeah, of course the earth's flat, right? Oh, I used to like flat. I used to like him, but now he's a flat earther. I'm not going to listen to him. My subscribers dropped. They started fucking hitting my channel all the time and all this other shit. And then I see these other people making react, and I was like, oh, it's on. Let's fight. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm not one to back away, you know? And so here I am. That's pretty much how it progressed.
But I have to agree with you. YouTube's been a real gem for trolls.
Oh, man.
It's like the oasis for the trolls, yeah.
Well, you don't see how many anti-Bigfoot channels do you see anywhere? Nowhere. You don't see any of that. You don't see any anti-Loch Ness monster. You got people that are hollow earth believers. Do you see a Wikipedia fact check on their videos? Do you see anybody out there going, I'm a hollow earth hater and I'm going to prove that it's not? No, you don't see any of that. And so
they just say it's dumb and they leave it.
Yeah, that was confirmation to me. That was confirmation. The Wikipedia stickers was a confirmation that I'm right. A confirmation was all the barrage that comes about from it. That's another. And when it's a case of methinks the lady doth protest too much. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the woman that purposely wears a revealing low cut top and then says, "Stop looking at my breasts." You know, it's like, no, you want people to look, you know? And so when I start seeing somebody protesting too much about something like that, and I'm like, wait, how long are you going to argue about something you think is ridiculous? I'm certainly not going to. I'm not going to spend any time on it. If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, Dave, you know, the sky is actually tartan plaid." And I'm like, yeah, okay, no, it's not. And I'm done. That's over. I'm not going to spend countless hours trying to prove that it's not. That's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, if you think it's dumb, you leave it. I'm exactly the same. Okay. How did you handle this situation?
I laugh at him.
Yeah.
At first, you're inclined to be angry and hit back. And of course, that's what they expect. But then I found that one of the worst things you can do to them is not only laugh at them, but just ignore them. They can't take it. They can't take it. They just lose their mind. Even like on Facebook, I'll say, you know, we'll get into the gas pressure discussion, and I'm like, well, can you prove that? You know, they always gradient. Well, there's a gradient, and I'm like, okay, so there's a gradient. Well, that's because of gravity. I was okay. Well, prove that it's from gravity. You know, demonstrate that air is actually affected by your gravity. Go ahead. It's all you. Well, no, mass attracts mass. They just go into this little mantra. And then they'll start insulting you. You'll get a response. It's a paragraph with nothing but ad homs and how you're uneducated and this, that, and the other. And they expect you to reply in kind. I don't. I just go, I'm sorry, that was not a proper demonstration of what I asked for. Could you please try again? Oh, they get mad. They get madder than a wet hen when you do like that. You just don't even respond. You just go, no, I'm sorry, that's not what I was asking. Can you please try again? Because that's all they're wanting to do is derail you off the subject. And this is what else is interesting. They have all this proof. Oh, it's definitely a globe. We know for sure. We've known for 2,500 years that it's a globe. We've known, we do this and everything else like that. But then the first thing they want to do is reverse the burden of proof. That's the first thing they want to do. You'd figure if you've got something that's so concrete, you'd be just happier and shit to just prove it. Nope, they don't. They instead want to ask you to prove a negative. Well, I'm sorry, I don't have to prove what my observations and experiences are. You have to prove the claim that goes against those observations and experiences. So
exactly.
Stop.
Yeah, the globe is definitely faith-based.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I mean, this is one thing. I mean, since I've ever got into flat Earth, I've always asked, can anybody introduce to me a validated scientific hypothesis and experiment for gravity? There's nothing. All
No.
they ever says, oh, Cavendish. It's like
Cavendish.
Cavendish is in an experiment. It has never been validated for gravity. It was used to calculate Earth's mean density. It has nothing to do with gravity.
Mm-hmm.
But yet they want to claim it.
Wouldn't you kind of be embarrassed if the best argument you've got for something as your arsenal of points, and then this point in this case gravity, is some janky contraption from the 18th century? We're a quarter of the way into the 21st century, and that's the best you can do. You're muted. You're muted, Flatzoid.
Yeah, I'm muting for the noise. That's why I'm like letting
Oh,
you
I got
talk.
All right.
Okay. Next one. Do you think it affects them mentally?
Yeah, I do. I think it affects them mentally and spiritually. Absolutely. What you'll find that the majority of your Glovers are atheists. And what I find with atheists is that the majority of them don't, it's not that they don't believe in God, they don't believe in a creator. They're mad at him. They're angry with him because even the mention or prospect of such a thing sends them into a spiral. There's something very strange about spinning objects and balls and spheres and things that have a hypnotic effect on people. And I think that that's one of the things that keeps people lulled into this spell that 99% of the population of this earth are under a spell. Because when you break out of that spell and you look at the ridiculous shit that they're believing and doing, you're standing outside of it looking at it and it's like, wow, these people are clinically insane. Clinically insane. They are operating from a mental maturity level of a 12-year-old. And this, whether it comes to politics or whether it comes to flat earth or anything, you see the behavior revert right down to, I think, a food fight's about to break out in the cafeteria, man. That's what it looks like, you know? And you have to wonder what is stunting the mental maturity of people. And it's part of this spell. And I'm saying that the initial thing, it's even when they hypnotize you for your daily news program, for instance. First thing that comes up is a countdown. And it's usually about 4 or 5 seconds. And they show either a globe or their logo spinning with little concentric circles going around it in different directions, alternating, and it's up there doing this in front of you, and you can count it down 4, 3, 2, 1, and it goes down into the corner of the screen and starts doing it. And you can literally watch people drop into an alpha wave state like you've never seen before just from that countdown. Pretty soon you go and start to interact with that person, and they're like somebody shot them up with Thorazine. They don't hear you, they don't see you, they're just right there.
Yeah, and I've seen it also when they have those like SpaceX rocket launches and stuff. You know, like sitting there, it's like they're waiting all to clap hands at the same. It's like you guys just saw CGI on the screen. You had some data, and you're going crazy like you won some awesome event or something that you've been. I don't know. It's.
Well, you know, for all we know, those are just clips, and they just told the whole crew, "Hey, we're not going to have to work Saturday, and we're bringing in a crew of strippers." And they're like, "Yay!" Like that. And they say, "Okay, now clip that one in there for when they do the thing." Yeah, there it is. Look, it all happened.
Oh man, that's crazy. This is one I think is very interesting. Have you had any obsession over you and what you believe by these people?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, I have. One of which we've seen, old Sean Hawkins, right? I don't even interact with that clown, and he's constantly going to be making movie or videos about me. He does the same thing about you. Who's the other? The he, she. I ended up having to block that thing from my channel because their whole goal was to come on, be as offensive as possible, and then try to get you in trouble for objecting to it. And it's like that's where their obsession. I'm sure you've had the exact same thing. Same thing on Facebook. I had this guy, this Martin fella, that this guy was just constant. Well, show me your flat Earth physics, and I'm trying to get through to this guy that physics is just physics. It's not flat Earth physics, globe physics, cube physics. None of that. It's just physics. All right. But he would just, I'd get up in the morning and look, and my Facebook would be 27 notices, and it's all him just freaking out. Just freaking out. I'm like, get a new toy, bro. And some of these guys, they actually refer to like a new flat earther on there. Oh, I have a new chew toy. Oh, here's a new channel. Good. I have a new chew toy. Or Flatzoid said this. I have a new chew toy. And it's like, what is that? Why would you want a chew toy? Why would you go out seeking to be negative towards someone? I don't understand that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got someone who emails me constantly every day. I tell the guy I want nothing to do with you. He constantly carries on doing. He actually made a video this morning to talk to my wife, to tell my wife I am mentally unstable and I need to get professional help, and he's worried about her safety.
Is it start with an A?
Yeah, it starts AA. Aaron.
Yeah.
So yeah. And by the way, guys, that same guy has threatened me to say if I say anything about him in my documentary, he will take legal action. Bring it on, Aaron.
Yeah, right. These people don't seem to understand how the system actually works.
The thing is, if you tell a person, listen here, leave me alone, leave my family alone, we want nothing to do with you, and he harasses and harasses and harasses every day, nonstop, he's the one that's in trouble, not the other guy telling him, leave him alone.
Right.
So yeah, I've got, and the funny thing is, the other obsessed troll with other accounts is sharing this video all over the place, saying, yeah. It's actually sad because if you think about it, do you think any of these people would stand in front of us and say what they say?
Never once. And this is why the keyboard makes people brave, makes them braver in hell. And we also live in this society where people think that they can just do whatever they want to and say whatever they want to somebody like that. But the reality of it is a good old ass whooping is justified from time to time, and you got somebody up in your face doing that shit or saying something about your wife or your kids, you're going to deck them. You're just definitely going to deck them. So yeah, the social media has caused people to, especially weak people, to come out and try to flex their muscles and be strong. So mainly these people that you see doing that are really, really weak individuals in real life. I don't care if it's McToon, if it's Arwen, whoever. They're weak people that would never act that way if they were in front of you. Not ever.
I agree. And then why do you think they are so obsessed?
Well, I think there's a couple of them that they just are just hateful, crazy people. But I believe in this. I'm theorizing, of course, but I think that a majority of these guys have been in trouble for something or got caught with something on their computer that they shouldn't have, and they've got that held over their head to make them do this. Every one of them that I've seen has some kind of a weird ass quirk about them. Really, really some kind of a mental instability about them, a perversion of sort.
I also think that some of them are CIA plants.
Absolutely.
I mean, the CIA has been seen in history to covertly interfere everywhere where they can, and I do have a feeling some of them are just CIA plants.
Even up to and including spending thousands and thousands of dollars to fund a trip? Would they do that?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Almost like they give a country drugs and then say, "Oh, there's a drug problem there." Weird, eh?
And we know that Google, the Alphabet Inc. has openly come out and said that they are doing everything they can to suppress dangerous conspiracy theories and primarily mentioned flat Earth. Now, how
That's
would
weird.
the condition of where you live be dangerous? How could that be dangerous? Dangerous to who? It wasn't dangerous to me. In fact, it was enlightening. So, who is it
I want,
actually dangerous to?
yeah, I want to know how it's dangerous to a person if it makes you come to realization as a creator.
It's not. It's dangerous
Weird.
to the system. It's dangerous to the controllers.
Mm.
You see?
Because you're able to think for yourself.
If Truman in that scene where he says, "I want to be an explorer," and she pulled down that map and he and says, "You're too late. There's no place to go." If Truman had pulled out another map and said, "Yeah, there is too. Look," that'd have been a different story. Now the teacher's going to send me to the principal's office, right? That's what's going to
Mhm.
happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
I got to beat this kid back in line. He's not following the program.
Yeah. And do you think they will ever get over the obsession?
They'll have to. I don't know if they will. I will. I have. I mean, it's just I think that's on their own personal thing. I think they're making themselves look more and more ridiculous as it goes. The more desperate they become, it makes it more and more obvious that there again, people see that and they're going, "Wait a minute, man, there sure is an awful lot of protest from that side, a lot of vehement hatred. Wonder what that's all about." And they start to look into it. And I'm saying, man, these guys are creating more flat earthers than we are.
No,
I
that's
saw, I
how it
saw a
is.
video by somebody that it wasn't even a flat earther that was mentioned, and they watched Craig, and they was like, "I couldn't stand that son of a bitch. I couldn't stand him."
You'll you'll be surprised how much Globers tell me I can't stand that guy. I can't stand the way they go. It's like, yeah, these are Globers saying this, guys. What does that tell you? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well,
And I mean,
you've got people that I don't mean it in a disparaging or derogatory way. They're ignorant of the flat earth. They've not
oh,
really
very.
been exposed. And if they have, it's only been briefly, and they've been trained to go, that's a bunch of nonsense, could go on with their day. Right.
Hmm.
Then you've got flat earth haters. Now that's a whole nother breed.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother breed. Their whole thing is they don't really give a shit what the shape of the earth is, as long as they can shut us up. And the best way they can get us to shut up is by luring us into a trap to get our own selves shut down. And
Hmm.
that's their goal. That's why they always want to fight with you and insult so that they can escalate it into you doing something they can report to get you shut down. Because their whole goal is not to prove the globe, it's to shut you up.
Well, yeah. Well, that reminds you of that Jack of all trades guy. He used my content,
Yeah.
and I did a reply on my content, and he copyright strike me for my own content. Now the thing is, because of YouTube policies, I wouldn't refute that because then he has all my personal information. The guy's a psychopath. He's a stalker. Why would I want to give all my personal information to the guy? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just let the copyright strike run out and it's finished. But this is how desperate they are.
Well, I'll get a notification. It says that guy, Jack of all trades, or somebody else, it says, "Oh, so and so made a video or mentioned you in a video," and you look in the title on it, it says, "Sovereign Soul is an idiot" or some shit like that, and I'm like, "Oh, that's nice." I don't respond to it. I don't watch it.
It's not even worth watching it because all they do that literally that's all it is. It's a
Yeah.
stupid song with us saying something. There's no rebuttal to what we're saying. He's
No.
just statement is we're dumb. That's it. There's no rebuttal to it. So how is it dumb?
Right. So I just don't even respond to it.
No,
I'm
it's
like,
not
"Oh,
worth
well,
it.
that's nice. Good for them. I hope all 5 of the views they got for it was worth it." You know, um, and then I just carry on. I just carry on, and that really bugs the shit out of them. That really does.
Uh,
I had somebody a while back. They come on my panel. They were a flat earther. They are a flat earther. They came on. They were about half drunk and was acting just shitty as hell to people on my panel because they were on the opposing side and they weren't flat earth hater people. They were just Globers. And he came back and did it again. And somebody had mentioned that he would acted like an asshole, and I agreed. Well, then all of a sudden he comes after me and starts bringing trolls over to my channel and everything.
Yep.
And I found the best thing to happen that worked the best was just fucking ignore them. Just
go on and
ignore them because they can't handle not getting the attention. They can't handle. That's why I say when it comes to these flat Earth haters that you see all the time on modern day debate or whatever else, it's always the same list of suspects. It's like, look, they're just saying the same shit over and over, getting the same answers over and over. The only thing that's keeping them afloat is our participation with them. And so that's why I've encouraged people, stop participating with them. Don't entertain them. You've already debated them. They lost. They lost 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times. Okay.
That's why I don't debate people like McToon and FTFE and things anymore, because how many times do I have to tell them the same thing over and over?
Yep.
It's like hitting your head against the wall over and over, and you just keep going back to do it again. It's like you get to a point, you just get to a point where, like, if you're too dumb to understand what's being said, then you're just not worth it.
Well, it's almost like on Idiocracy, how those people were just enamored by watching "Oh My Balls." How many times can you be entertained by something like that? But they were continuously over and over and over and over, and that's what you've got basically with McToon and Craig and the rest of those. It's just nothing more than an "Oh My Balls" over and over and over. Their biggest draw is the fact that they go to the mess, the derogatory aspect of it. People like that. For some reason, because
they like the drama, they like the negativity.
They do. They really do. That's why shows like Jerry Springer and things like that, where where the audience gets to abuse the guest at a certain section. I mean, this is what people have. There's a lot of people that grew up on that type of thing, and if you watch a lot of them, like Jake the Asshole, okay, he's a flat earther.
Not actually. He's not a true earther.
Or whatever he is, but his biggest draw is the fact that he is derogatory toward other people and he says mean, hateful shit, and people love that, and I'm like, I don't need those people. I don't want those kind of people.
We don't need that negativity.
No, I'm trying to break people away from that type of thinking, Let's lift people up instead of breaking them down all the time.
100% agree. I mean, I'm getting so much hate now because I've gone more into biblical cosmology side now and trying to do the positive things of it. I'm getting a lot of hate from that for some reason. It's like,
there's everyone. See, that's another one. He thinks the lady doth protest too much. It's like you could say whatever you want. You can make stuff about Muhammad or whatever mention, but I'll tell you one thing: you mention Jesus and God, and it's over. They're going to come at you with pitchforks and torches. And it's like, why? Why is there so much pushback against something? When there's that much pushback against something, I'm like, there's something to it. That's just like the Wikipedia fact checks, just like all of that. I'm like, okay, what's really behind this? Yeah.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I was asked on your show, somebody asked if I was a Christian. And I'm like, I'm not going to place myself in that category because it denotes that I'm religious. I'm not. Okay. If I go by the definition of a Christian, which is to be as Christ-like as possible, to follow in the man's footsteps and do as he did, which is to believe in him by doing as he did, that's being a Christian. Just going to a building and adopting a denomination, that's not it at all. In fact, the more I see of churches, the more I am convinced that they are Satan.
But you see, that's the unfortunate truth today. I mean, I am a Christian, and I understand sleeping in a garage doesn't make you a car. Just like going to a church doesn't make you a Christian. And
I like that.
And that's the unfortunate truth today, because the majority of people are what we would call cultural Christians, like Richard Dawkins says, because they're just there for the tag.
Right.
They don't actually believe. And I've seen it with a lot of people. That's why when you test them on the Bible, scripture, they don't even know what's in the Bible. People have been Christians for 20, 30 years, and you're like, okay, let's talk about this scripture. They don't know what's going on.
It's it kind of reminds me, and I swear to God, I've referred to this probably 30 years or better all the time. Monty Python does some of the best skits that bring you to realization of things like that. There's a movie they did called The Meaning of Life, and this guy comes home. He's a Catholic, and the woman's washing dishes, and a baby even drops out from under her dress while she's washing the dishes, and she's going, "Oh, Deidre, will you get that? It's another mouth to feed." Oh my God, right? So and it's funny, the guy comes home from work and he goes, "Well, I've got some bad news. I'm not going to be able to afford to feed you anymore, so I'm going to have to sell you off for medical experiments." And you're like, "Why? And why do you have so many kids?" And he goes, "Well, you see, it's because I'm a Catholic."
Wow.
And they sing this whole song about, being a Roman Catholic and how sperms are sacred and
Yeah,
shit and all this other. And it's just funny as hell. And it's like, it reminds me of a friend my grandfather had. This guy was Greek. He was from Greece, and he was a Christian. He said he was a Christian, and he said, "Well, how are you a Christian?" He said, "I was born a Christian." Like it's a race or something, you know?
yeah. That's insane. Yeah, and I've heard that as well. Okay, number 12. Should this obsession be treated like a mental illness, like a drug condition?
Yeah, I think so. I really do. Um, but it's not really quite that hard. The withdrawal from it's not that hard. Like I said, the only ones we see are these hardcore flat Earth haters. Like myself, I was completely, into the whole thing. And when I started looking into it, and I was like, "Oh, wow, yeah." I went through 7 stages of grief, but I was like, I didn't go on trying to fight it and keep it. I had to truly evaluate it. And one of the best things to do when you're ever looking at that is, and whether it's people's behavior, politics, whatever, I call it a xenoscopic standpoint. And what that means is, like, pretend you is not even ever from here. You've never even been here, and somebody just stuck you here and said, "Hey, look, here's what's going on." I don't have a dog in the fight. I got to look at it like a playground supervisor dissecting an argument between two of the kids. Okay, who's right? Who's wrong? Why are they right? Why are they wrong? Who's got the most valid points? You have to look at it without a dog in the fight. I know a lot about World War II. It was a fascinating subject to me from the time I was probably 12 years old. I can tell you about every battle, all these generals, the strategies, all that crap, right? But then I went and looked into it, the whole thing, fresh, with that xenoscopic standpoint. And my whole view on it, without a dog in the fight, completely changed. Completely changed. I was able to see who actually had the moral high ground, who was actually at fault. And it was nothing like the story that I had been told.
Mm-hmm.
I had
Yeah,
to create it. I had to go the story and not his story.
yep, yep. It's a good way of putting it. Uh, and the final question: what is your message to all the obsessed globe defenders?
Um, get a new hobby. It's over. It's all over. I predicted a tipping point in 2024 last year. We're there. Absolutely, we're there. And you're not going to stop it. It's snowballing. Despite your best efforts, mankind is waking up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, man. That was a great interview, a great chat.
Thank you.
Wish we had more time.
Feels like I'm meant to strike. Flat earth beneath my feet, knowing I'm here to meet. Ocean's edge, it calls my name.